Alright, this is a quick lecture on problems with caravanning and Euro 6 engines. Now, we've covered Euro 6 engines and regenerative braking on a few other videos, so if you go onto the Sterling Power Products on YouTube and put in regenerative braking, you'll get what the regenerative braking is on Euro 6 engines. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of that and then show you what the problems are and why your fridges aren't working anymore and why you're not charging batteries on your caravan. So if you understand what's going wrong, then we can show you how to fix that. So first of all, let's understand what's going wrong. With regenerative braking, basically the vehicle ECU is designed to keep your starter battery 20% empty so that when you put your foot on the brakes, then the alternator can shoot away up and dump a lot of energy into your battery. So in essence, you're trying to charge your battery under braking or slowing down conditions in order to save you fuel, in order to get your emissions standard up. So what's happening is the alternator is running at 12.4 volts, give or take some. And then when you brake, it shoots away up to about 15.5 volts. Now, most of the time it spends at the 12.4 volts because that's where it's trying to empty the battery down to leave some room, so when you put the foot on the brakes, it will fire up to the 15.5. So majority of the time, 12.4, short bursts, 15.5. Now let's see what happens when you put that onto your vehicle. You have two wires. This is your plug on your 13-pin plug on your camper van. Basically, I'm not interested in going over all these ones marked in blue are to do with your lights on your vehicle. So we're really not interested in the ones marked in blue. So we'll rub them off so as not to get confusing. Now, from the point of view of your caravan, just your caravan operation, not your lights and everything, you're really only using 4 cables. Now those 4 cables are 2 positives and 2 negatives. So at the minute your alternator will go to your battery. Now, 2 cables here. One cable is running your fridge and the other cable is supposed to be charging your battery from the battery on the vehicle. So the vehicle battery unit has a wire going to pin 9, and then there's another wire coming off here which goes to the fridge relay, which is in the car. Okay, so the fridge relay is in the car, so when you start the car, the fridge relay closes, and then this puts 12 volts or whatever up to the fridge connector. So that's your basic circuit as far as the caravan or the vehicle is concerned, charging your caravan battery. So when you start the vehicle, the relay closes and you get 12 volts going to the fridge connection, and you've also got then the connection direct to the battery. Now when we go to the other side, we go to your caravan. So the fridge basically then connects to your caravan and goes straight to your fridge, and that runs your fridge. It's that simple. So start the engine, relay closes, off it goes to the fridge and fires the fridge up on 12 volts. The second wire simply goes from here and then goes down to your caravan battery. But what they also do is they take a feed from this battery here to run the relay that isolates your caravan electrics. I'm assuming they do that so it removes the load from the caravan electrics when the fridge is online, so that the battery here isn't discharged so you can't discharge the battery on the vehicle via this route here. When the caravan is just sitting stationary, say you're going for coffee or something and it's still plugged in, this will prevent anything like lights or anything that are on the vehicle from also discharging your car battery while it's just sitting there doing nothing. So that's basically your standard wiring system, which has been working I use the word working very vaguely, which has been hanging in there for the last 50 odd years. Now, the biggest problem is your fridge, because that can be more than likely an absorption fridge, and that's probably pulling 10 to 15 amps. As I say, up to now, that's just about been working with 14 volts coming from here. By the time it gets down the cables, you're probably at about 13 volts back here, and this stuff is just about working, and you certainly aren't charging your battery, but you're it's hanging in there. So let's look what happens now when you get your new car, and the new car is a Euro 6 engine. Well, you've no longer got your 14 volts, so the older vehicles will be working at 14 volts. You're now working between 15.5 and 12.4. Remember, most of the time, you're 12.4. So if you're starting off here at 12.4, the time you go down these cables and get round to the back here, you'll be lucky if you're 12 volts. And that's with no real load. That's just voltage drops down the cable. If you want to look at our website, and we'll put up on the screen here, these are the voltage drops that you will experience with load down this cable. Now, the worst case scenario we have come to, bearing in mind these cables, these two main cables, if you look at the caravan wires, you've got two sizes of cables. You've got your 2.5mm cable, and you've got your little thinner 1.5mm cable. So the 2.5mm cables are the power cables, and the 1.5mm cables are for your lights and stuff. So the 2.5 is 2.5 millimeters squared copper. That's rated at about 25 amps. But the voltage drop for 25 amps is quite appalling. So if you look at our literature, if you start off here at 14.4 volts, you can be down as low as 9 volts at 20 odd amps by the time you reach the battery. Now, 9 volts is most definitely not going to charge your battery. In fact, you're well into discharging your battery, which is exactly what this is all about. It wants to discharge your battery. And your fridge is not going to work at 9 volts. So this is why, if you look at any of the blogs, you'll find people with new vehicles are finding that their fridge simply is no longer working when they're towing the vehicle. In fact, there really isn't any point other than the lights and plugging the tow bar in, because you're absolutely doing nothing. So that's the Euro 6 problem. And then when you do actually drive, you go up to 15.5 volts, they certainly will try and charge down here. It certainly will try and charge, it certainly will try and run the fridge. But if you put 15.5 volts into these fridges, are they going to survive? Are they going to trip out? Or what are they going to do? From what I can see, some of them simply just trip off. So they go from tripping off because the voltage is too high to no way they're working because the voltage is way too low. End result is fridge isn't working. So there's a big debate as whose problem is this? Is this the caravan manufacturers who are making the caravan the same way they did for 50 years? Or is the car manufacturers? Well, I know which one you're going to have more pull over. There's no point going to Volkswagen or Ford or whoever and saying, this isn't charging my caravan fridge. They really don't care. So you're more likely to go to the caravan guy and say, my new Euro 6 is not working with your caravans. Now, every vehicle will be pretty much Euro 6 except for at the minute a Fiat or something like that there, but most of the tow vehicles that you're using will be Euro 6 with regenerative braking. It's not going to work your caravan. So how do we get it to work your caravan? Okay, so how do we get it to work your caravan? All right, there's a few little tricks we have here. First of all, there's nothing we can do about this. This is done. There's nothing we can do about the plug. It's going to be there for the next 20 years. That's just the way it is, much as we'd like to change it. The cables are terrible, but they are what they are. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good the cables are. If you're starting off here 12.4 volts, you're going to end up here at a voltage which is unacceptable. So what we have to do is somehow just accept that we are going to have garbage all the way up to here. And then when it gets to here, let's fix the garbage. So we've got a new product called a battery-to-battery charger 1225C, C for caravan. Now it's been specifically designed for caravans. So what are we going to do that's different to what's going on here? So we're going to get the battery-to-battery charger and put it on here in the caravan. So all we're going to do is to take this wire here and this wire here, and instead of going to the fridge and going to the battery, we simply put into there and into our battery-to-battery charger. Now, if you know any of our other products, what battery-to-battery chargers do is they take a low voltage in, but they put a high voltage out. So we are quite happy at the fact that you've got 9 volts. So if you put 9 volts into us here, we will give you out 14.4. So that's 14.4 out, and you can put 9 volts in. So the end result is we put the 2 main feed wires in, and then we take the 2 wires out again, one to the fridge and the other one to the battery. So although you're putting an absolute garbage voltage in, we're giving you the 14.4 volts out. Number one, it'll run your fridge, and number two, it'll charge your battery. So even when you're at 12.4 volts here and you're dropping down to 9 volts, we don't care. We'll simply take that 9 volts, boost the voltage, run your fridge and charge your battery. You've never charged your battery before. You might have made it hang in there, but you've never charged it. So for the first time ever, you can actually charge your battery and run your fridge. Now this has other benefits. Say for example, your caravan has the maneuvering things that you put on the wheels so you can drive it when you get to the campsite. If you don't use a product like this, when you get to the campsite, your battery's going to be empty. So there's really no point in having an automatic system to drive your caravan around with when your battery's empty. So there's another side benefit of this type of product. It will charge your battery will be fine when you get to the campsite, and your fridge will still be operational. So when we first designed this, or were designing this product, we were looking on this as a luxury product to enable a caravaner to do wildside camping, to be able to just stop somewhere for a couple of days and you'll have enough power in your battery and everything to run your caravan for a few days, hitch yourself back up again and go off again. So that was the original idea, and it would come under the heading of a luxury product. However, with the advent of the Euro 6, it's become clear that this has now gone from the luxury product end to the necessity. The bottom line is, if you don't have this, your caravan ain't working. You can forget your fridge and you can forget your electric drive motor. So it's very much jumped over to a necessity as opposed to a luxury. The end result is we've got everybody screaming for this. This is making this video in the end of February 2017. This won't be available on the market for about another 2 months, and we've already got people absolutely screaming for it. So I'm not sure how big a seller it will be when it hits the market, but it certainly looks like it's going to be an amazing seller. So that's what we're doing to fix the problem. So we'll explain the problem, we'll explain the fix. So hopefully that will help you make decisions. Okay, thanks then.